Good morning and welcome, dear friends. Welcome to our spiritual home, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs. My name is Ellie Wolf-Mulick, and I am your worship associate for today. For those who are visually impaired, my blonde hair quotes hair, and I'm more aged than I want to admit. And I'm kind of short Northern European ancestry. I'm wearing a shawl and a pair of black slacks and a green shirt. So that's the basics. I go by she and her as my pronouns. And we are here in the sanctuary of the UU Church, which originally was erected in 1885. We're surrounded by beautiful Innes Jr. paintings, and also we acknowledge we're living on the lands of the Tocobaga and Seminole people. So we have a lot of rich history and beauty in our tradition. We offer a warm welcome to our members, our friends, anyone who's new. We hope that this service fills your heart with joy that you can share as you leave. This is a special time, both of Passover and Easter coming together, and we honor the fact that we are celebrating after our meal, after our service, with our mystery meal and trivia. Our mission states we're a liberal community, faith for all ages, promoting spiritual growth, social justice, and the arts. Today we welcome back Erin Powers, who has been with us before, and this time Erin's gift to us will be sharing about joy as resistance. Our music today is provided by my dear friend Bonnie, and she's our gifted music director, and our choir, my colleagues in crime, and again, a warm welcome to this Sunday service.
Our opening hymn is in your gray hymnal, number 276, O Young and Fearless Prophet. 276. You may stand or you may sit as you like.
Your Good morning. So as Ellie said, I am Erin Powers. My pronouns are they, them. I'm a white, non-binary, femme-presenting person with brownish, short, curly hair, a pastel, bright, florally shirt, and some clear pinkish and blue glasses. And I'm delighted to spend Easter morning with y'all. And thank you, Ellie, for such a warm and wonderful welcome. So we're going to open with these words by Carl Seberg. Let there be joy in our coming together this morning. Let there be truth heard in the words we speak and the songs we sing. Let there be help and healing for our disharmony and despair. Let there be silence for the voice within us and beyond us. Let there be joy in our coming together.
Today, our chalice lighting has been will have the adapted words of Vance Bass. Every day brings struggle. Every day brings joy. Every day brings us the opportunity to ease the struggle of one another. Every day we have the opportunity to be the joy in another's life. May our flame today remind us to listen now and then to carry our light to each other and our needy world. Unitarian Universalism is a covenantal faith. We will now read together our congregation's covenant. We strive to look for and encourage the best in each other as we move toward justice, peace, and love for both ourselves and the world. And when we fall short, we will seek understanding, reconciliation, and return to covenant. Let us sing together.
Let us sing number 123 in the Gray Book. 1, 2, 3, Spirit of Life.
Okay, so for our Time for All Ages this morning, we are going to do something completely different. Who here has ever heard of laughter yoga? Yes. Excellent, yay, we have some. Okay, So, and this will be my first time leading laughter yoga in front of a group. So, but laughter yoga is something really cool and very fun and very silly. What is so cool about laughter yoga is that our brains cannot distinguish between real, genuine laughter and fake laughter. And so it creates the same process in our brains either way. And so laughter yoga can be a way to bring more joy and all of the, mental, physical, spiritual benefits of joy into our lives anytime we want, okay? So I'm gonna lead y'all and we are going to try this out together and we're gonna be silly and joyful together. So we're gonna start with a clapping and laughing. I'm gonna lead y'all. In laughter yoga, they like us to clap like this because it hits some acupressure points in our hands. So, and you can clap louder. So we're gonna start with ha, ha, ho, ho, ho. 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 Excellent. Yes. All right. Now we're going to work on our vowels. So we're going to go through our vowels in alphabetical order. So we're going to start with A. So we're going to go ah, ha, 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 ha. And you can clap if you want to. Ah, 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 ah. Ah, 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 ah. Ah, 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 ah. All right, now we'll E. So E, he, 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 he. He, he, he. And I, hi, 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 hi. Hi, 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 hi. Hi, 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 hi. And then O, ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. And then U, our favorite letter, and we'll do it with a oo. Oo, hoo, 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 hoo. Hoo, 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 hoo. Hoo, 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 hoo. Excellent. Y'all are so good at this. We're going to do one more, and we're going to do some high and low laughing. And you can do this a couple of different ways. So you can change the pitch of your laugh. You can even change the volume of your laugh. Or you can change your body position, but watch your neighbors when you do this. So we'll start with some high laughing. I'll demonstrate movement since I have room to move. And y'all can take it how you want to. So we're going to ha, 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 ha. Ha, ho, 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 ho. Yes. Excellent. Y'all are masters at this. So now I would like y'all to take a few breaths and just notice how you feel. Notice if you feel like you were really laughing, if you were fake laughing. Either is great. Either does the trick. And thank you all for being silly and laughing with me. So with that, we're going to sing our children out to their classes where I hope they have lots more laughter.
Now is the time in our service where we take an offering for the work and welfare of this church. You are welcome to drop your donations on the plate as we pass it, or you may donate online. Our spiritual community is a refuge where we are able to keep the ember of hope and joy alive, even when our world seems intent to doubt it. And as we continue to tend our ember together, we are grateful for your ongoing generosity that enables us to spread a sense of joy and light and hope beyond our church walls.
So our reading today is a poem by British student Laura Ukpokolo. Joy is a protest. It is awakened by a new rage for change. Its stomach rumbles with the hunger for revolution. It's tired of the bland taste of complacency. It wakes up and pours bureaucracy in a bowl and devours it for breakfast. It slips into the places we least expect it. It squeezes itself into cracks and small places. Paint blushes like roses on the faces of strangers, pours lights into shadows and hollow spaces. You have the right to be happy, even in a world where the existence of happiness is threatened by division and death. Joy will not be silent. The sound of joy beats to the rhythm of your pulse. It is in your blood. It has written its name in your DNA. Joy is your birthright. And now, please join me for a moment of silence.
The choir will now sing an arrangement of Ode to Joy. I found these words on a website from Australia. And so I thought they were very good words for today, and please join us if you will.
Thank you all for that. I loved the new words. So, what the world needs now is joy and resistance. This comes from a song called Joy and Resistance by the Resistance Revival Choir. And it goes on to profess that we also need hope, love, and faith. Today, we're going to talk about joy. This phrase, joy is an act of resistance, comes to us from the poet Toy Derricotte. It's the first line of an ode to her goldfish, Telly. And to be honest, at my first read, I thought that maybe I had the wrong poem. I was expecting a poem focused on social justice. But joy is surprising like that. It pops up in unexpected places. It catches us off guard and asks us to notice the world, to notice life in a different way. Joy connects us to our imagination and disrupts our routine patterns of thought. Joy creates moments that ask us to pause and consider something different. And these small moments are the ones that can make huge impacts on our living and our approach to life. And still, there are the realities of our world. There are serious and dangerous forces and actors at play. The shape of the future is uncertain and worrisome. Finding joy in times like these can feel counterintuitive. It can feel downright disrespectful. How could we possibly feel joy in a time when so much harm is happening in our country, in our world? How could we possibly find time for joy when we have so much work to do? When we don't know what fresh hell is going to be enacted tomorrow or next week? How can we make room for joy when we are consumed with worry about our jobs, our budgets, our safety? With all these very valid concerns, it's understandable that joy is not always at the top of our minds these days. And some moments, some days, joy feels outright offensive. And all of that is completely valid. We need to feel all of our feelings. Joy coexists with our rage and our grief and our anxieties. We contain multitudes, and our feelings reflect that. Honoring all of our feelings is resistance to oppressive forces that try to force us into singular narratives and two-dimensional avatars of our true selves. It's these same oppressive forces that have created the falsehood that joy is a feeling only reserved for the good times. They have tried to discourage us from tapping into joy because they know how powerful joy is. They know that joy energizes and inspires. They know that joy unites and connects. They know that a people attuned to joy are powerful beyond measure. And I want us to pause here for a moment and really tune in to our own joy. And I want to add a disclaimer. If in this moment you cannot connect with your joy, that is okay. You are surrounded by a community that will tend to this joy and keep it at the ready when you are. In these next few minutes, please attend to yourself in whatever way feels best. So now I invite everyone to take a breath and think about a recent moment of joy, or maybe a memorable one that has stayed with you. Notice how it feels in your body. Notice where you feel it in your body. Let that feeling of joy settle into your body. Make it a comfortable home. Let's breathe with our joy for a moment. And looking out here, I can see the joy on your faces. Because that right there, that's the power of joy. Joy lights a fire in our soul. Joy opens us up to new possibilities and fresh ideas. Joy bolsters our resolve and reminds us of what we are working towards and what we are fighting for. Joy lifts our spirits and boosts our confidence. And all of that is incredibly threatening to oppressive forces. Because for all the power they hoard, ultimately, they can only hold on to that power if we yield it. Every single time we choose joy and tend to our joy, we resist systems designed for oppression. And sadly, oppressive forces and systems seem to be an enduring theme in human history. Today is Easter, a time when Christians celebrate the resurrection of Jesus, It's a time of celebration, of joy. However, the time leading up to Jesus' state-sanctioned murder was perilous and fraught. The Roman Empire was closing in on this radical who was stirring up trouble and challenging the order of the time. Joy was likely not high on the minds of his followers and disciples. And for them, I'm sure it was a scary and uncertain time. I'm sure they had similar feelings of fear and worry, like many of us have had in these times. And his murder probably felt like a huge defeat in so many ways. For a moment, it seemed as though empire won out over radical love. There was no joy or hope in that moment. But it was not the end. Love triumphed. Love, it turns out, is undefeatable. And that good news is something to be joyful about. This story of resurrection and of triumph over seemingly unbeatable forces reminds us that when we hold fast to our values, there is no darkness that we cannot overcome. This story reminds us that oppressive empirical forces are still no match for a people committed to love. And when things seem darkest, joy can be the spark that kindles the flame which lights our path to truth and justice. Joy shows us where to find hope in even the darkest of times. In her book, Hope in the Dark, Rebecca Solnit says, "Joy doesn't betray, but sustains activism. And when you face a politics that aspires to make you fearful, alienated, and isolated, joy is a fine initial act of insurrection. As oppressive forces work to expand their reach, and as more of us join in the resistance, we need to consider the importance of joy in our work. Joy as a tool, joy as a starting point, joy as a support, joy as a method. We need to think about joy because oppressive forces are hoping that they can steal our joy, steal our resolve, steal our hopes. They know how powerful joy is. Do we really? Are we tapping into the power of joy fully? Do we let joy make a home in our bodies and in our souls? Think back to earlier when we thought about a moment of joy and brought it into our bodies. When we sat with the power of joy. It was no small thing, this joy. Audre Lorde explains, joy gives us the energy for change. The energy to resist the oppressive structures and status quo that aims to make us tired and apathetic. Joy energizes us. It reminds us of what we are working for. It shows us possibilities. It creates positive associations with the work we are doing so that we are excited about the next time and the time after that. Things like singing together at church or at a protest, working in a community garden with friends, supporting local artists or making art yourself, listening to your favorite music, either live or recorded, making your favorite food to share. These are just a few ways that joy can energize us and our community. And what helps make strong communities? It's joy. Joy works like super glue to bring people together and foster unity. In these times, when so many different groups of people are coming together for resistance, joy can help us move and work together. To quote Audre Lorde again, "The sharing of joy forms a bridge between the sharers, which can be the basis for understanding much of what is not shared between them, and lessens the threat of their difference." The universality of joy bridges our differences so that we can focus on the shared goal of resisting oppressive forces and systems. And that's another thing about joy. When we share it, it only grows. It is an infinite resource. Like a candle or our chalice flame, once joy is sparked, it can be shared again and again. Joy is inherently abundant. And in times like these, when some things feel scarce, tapping into the abundance of joy helps us feel secure. And joy is creative and generative. It is life-giving, and it is our birthright as humans. In nurturing and tending to joy, we nurture and tend to our collective humanity. We resist those who seek to dehumanize in the pursuit of unchecked power. And one of the best things about joy is how accessible it is. Joy requires no special equipment, no money, no special skills. Joy can be as simple as laughing at nothing or something. It can be a smile or a conversation with a stranger or a dear friend. It can be found in the beauty of our greater living world or in a creation of our own. Joy can be found wherever we are, and we always have the power to bring joy into our lives. We always have the power to live into joy. And through this joy, we find the power and energy to continue the work of justice and resistance. In closing, I offer this prayer by Lisa Garcia Sampson. Spirit of life and love, Spirit that lives within us and between us and among us right now, may we refuse to let our spirits be depleted and hardened by forces of hate. Instead, may we open ourselves to be nourished and transformed by the movement for justice, knowing that our collective story is not what we are fighting against, but what we are fighting for. For ours is the work of creation. Ours is the work of inviting people into an irresistible movement, rooted in our belief that a new world is possible. And the center of our work is love and joy and the spirit of abundance. These are the things we are fighting for, and these are the things we are fighting with. May we know, deep in our bones, that this is the call of our faith. Amen, and blessed be.
Our final hymn today is De Colores, number 305 in the great hymnal, De Colores.
close with these words by Dutch priest and prolific theologian Henry Nouwen. Joy does not simply happen to us. We have to choose joy and keep choosing it every day. In these times, I hope that you both seek and choose joy at every opportunity. And I hope that joy carries you through the trials of these times. May it be so.
May whatever we pursue this coming week continue to bring us joy, to renew us and enliven us, as we simply go about our ordinary day caring for ourselves and for one another with joy and loving kindness. May we deeply trust that we are doing our part to soulfully contribute to the pattern of peace in our corner of the world, one person at a time. Let this be so, and so it is. Now, each week, we set aside time